Good morning, KNICKS Nation. Today is Tuesday. It is Tuesday, the 12th of April, 2022. I hope that you today are safe and healthy, and that your family is also safe and healthy, and that the needs of you and your family in terms of food and shelter, clothing, as well as health, are being met. Blessings upon those that work in the healthcare field and those who are the first responders, trying every day to save lives, and those who make deliveries for us for our convenience, and those also who pick up garbage to keep the streets, the sidewalks, the highways, the parks clean and disease-free. Blessings also, double blessings, on the men and women trying to help deliver, trying to help rescue, trying to help recover the victims of child molestation and pedophilia, the victims of prostitution and child prostitution, the victims of sex trafficking and human trafficking and sex slavery, the victims of pornography and child pornography, and double curses on the perpetrators, the perverts, and the profiteers who traffic in this human misery. Finally, blessings upon the homeless. There are nearly 600,000 men, women, and children who live on the streets of the United States of America. And there are millions around the world in similar or worse conditions, and blessings upon them, for theirs is the kingdom. So now that the New York Knicks season is over, and the focus of my channel is the New York Knicks. It's not NBA basketball in general, though I love NBA basketball. It's the New York Knicks and what things pertaining to the New York Knicks. And so now that the season is over, my focus and attention turns to the draft. Because the Knicks have 13 picks in the next 4 years, including 4 or 5 first round picks, 5 first rounders. So we have a plethora of picks in draft capital. Now, we can't use all of that draft capital, but the thing about having that kind of draft capital is that you have a higher percentage chance of finding star talent that can help you win championships. And that's what we're looking for in New York. We're looking to bring talent that can help the Knicks win. That's the end of the game, baby. So we're not looking for just, people that look good, people that can put up stats. Stats are good unless you're not winning with them. We need to win. Today's highlight player is Jeremy Sochan. And you know what? One of the things I've learned in my 61 years on the planet is to learn, period, is to be wrong and then find out you're wrong and learn. That's how you learn, right? To be wrong, admit you're wrong and go forward. Otherwise, you can't learn. So there's a couple of my subscribers, love all of y'all, but some of y'all, I already know. I feel really good when you are negative because I don't believe you know what you're talking about. And so if you're opposite of my view, I feel good about that. Because I'm like, this guy's no idea what he's talking about. And if he doesn't agree with me, that means it's good, right? That's the way I look at it. And then there's some people who just disagree with anything and everything because, I don't know, something going on in their lives or whatever. So generally, those type of people, I laugh, I ignore what they're saying most of the time and move on, because that's where I take it. If you're opposite of me, I'm in pretty good shape because you're always opposite of me, right? So there's some persons that, if I say it, it's right, they're going to say it's left, regardless, right? So there were a couple of people that were in that class of my subscribers. There are those types that are in my class of subscribers. There are a class of those. And so they were saying, you got to look at Jeremy Sochan. Well, because they said it, and I had actually I took a peek at some of his highlights just to get acclimated with who's out there. He's a couple months ago, like around All-Star break. And, he had no offense, right? So I was like, oh, for what, And, but then somebody, a couple of y'all that weren't in the class of the, antagonistic, people, negative people, the haters, you weren't in that class. And you started also mentioning, watch Jeremy Sochan. So I said, you know what? I think it was last Friday. I said, you know what? I'm going to take a closer look at this kid and see what it looks like. Best defender in the draft. Let me just start off like that. Best defensive player in this draft is Jeremy Sochan. Period. Okay. If you could make a child from Ben Simmons and Dennis Rodman, you have Jeremy Sochan. That's what you have. Okay. 6'9", 7-foot wingspan. You know, legit 18 years old. Won't be 19 until the draft. Okay. Defensively, masterpiece. He is ready for the league. And I can't say that about a lot of players, honestly. Because all of these guys need development. Even him. Everybody needs development. You're not coming out of college polished and ready to be a high-level NBA player. Unless you're a legit prodigy, like a Luka Doncic type guy or a Zion Williamson. You know, you're a legit dude that can just come in as a savant and just know the game. There's some players like that, you know, or LeBron. Not everybody's like that. And it's not fair to expect everybody to come out like that. Well, 90% of these guys coming out of college, they all need development. And so, you know, they come out with certain character traits and certain physical abilities that tell you, you know, they're going to be NBA players, but they all need some development. But there's some people like Sochan, defensively, he is ready to play on the NBA floor right now. He can come on the NBA floor and play. You know, he'll probably, like most rookies, because he's not going to get the calls, he's probably going to be in foul trouble a lot in his rookie year. But it's worth it. For this kid, it's worth it. And that's why, like, on the Knicks, if you're going to get a kid like this, you're trading Julius Randle. Because you're starting Obi. And here's your backup to Obi. Now, offensively, this is the thing. I'm not going to say he'll never be, you know, able to be competent on the offensive end because he's only 18 and he's talented. He's got the talent. So we don't know what a guy with basketball talent can become. You know, he can become a decent shooter. I don't know if he's going to ever be Stephen Curry, but he can become a decent shooter. His numbers, you know, tell you right now, you know, he'll never shoot, right? Because look, he's shooting 47% from the field, which is good, but 30% from three and 59% from the line. That's Dennis Rodman and Simmons type numbers. You know what I mean? But on the other side, this kid could be multiple time all defense. He's capable of becoming one day defensive player of the year. He's capable of leading the league in rebounding, like Dennis Rodman. Okay, he's capable of that. He can guard 1 through 5 on the floor. Okay, Scotty Barnes. This is Scotty Barnes again. Except Scotty Barnes, even at 18, was more polished offensively than Sochan is, and that's what I mean. Scotty Barnes was way more polished offensively, and that's what the difference is. But defensively, you're looking at the same player. 1 through 5, 7-foot wingspan. He can guard a point guard and he can guard a 5. Okay. Like I said, future multiple time defensive, all defense, and could become a defensive player of the year. Like he's in that Ben Simmons class and Dennis Rodman class. He could lead the league in rebounding one day. That's how good I believe this kid is as far as the defensive end. You see, like some of people, and I don't do this, but some people look strictly at stats and decide on a player. Like, for example, I've heard people say, well, Mitch Rob is not worth that much money. He only averages 8 points and 8 rebounds. You have to actually know the game. There are some players that affect the game. And let's look at an example. There was a guy that led Detroit Pistons defense and they won a chip with him, Ben Wallace. If you look at his stats, it will not pop out at you that he's a Hall of Fame, one of the best defenders ever type of player. Okay. And he affected the game, you know, the way he locked down on defense. So you can't just look at, well, Mitch Rob is 8 points, 8 rebounds, so he's only worth X number of dollars. No, he affects the game, the rebounding, the defense, the number of shots he alters, the way an offense has to adjust because he's out there. It's not points and rebounds with that. It's the presence. It's the defense. It's the help. It's the IQ on the defense. It's covering, because in today's NBA, you got to be able to cover ground defensively. You can't touch guys, today. It's much softer than it was in Ben Wallace's day. But so you got to have length. And that's why everybody's focusing on 7-foot wingspans and length to cover ground and alter shots. That's what you want, especially in the playoffs. Okay, this is where a guy like a Ben Wallace, a Mitchell Robinson, a Jeremy Sochan becomes extremely valuable. Because in the playoffs, you win chips by making the other team miss. Okay, now you got to put the ball in the basket, but you got to make the other team miss. When you're in the playoffs, everybody can score. Every team can score. Otherwise, they wouldn't be there. But the teams that win can get locked down defense when they need it. Okay? This is why players like a Jeremy Sochan can win you championships. Players like a Mitchell Robinson can win you championships. Okay? So it's not just about stats. You got to see the player. You got to know the game, and you got to see how he affects the game when he's on the floor. Sochan is that guy. Okay. Now on my big board, this is the thing I'm excited about with regard to my own big board. My big board, I have Jabari Smith at number 1, Paolo Banchero 2, Jaden Ivey 3, Keenan Murray and Benedict are like 4 or 5, but they're close. I could switch them. I got Keenan Murray and Benedict Mathurin 4 and 5, but it could be easily switched. I got EJ Liddell at 6 because EJ Liddell is also, I like sure things. Not everybody coming draft is a sure thing. EJ's a sure thing, and he's not a superstar sure thing, but he's Charles Oakley with a jump shot sure thing. That's why I like Eli Liddell at 6. But at 7, I got Dyson Daniels and Sochan tied. Really, it's 7 and 7A, for Dyson Daniels and Sochan. And then Okai Agbaji, Wendell Moore, who we got to still go over, AJ Griffin, Johnny Davis, and Tari Eason. Now, that's my big board. That's not Tankathon's big board, because Tankathon has, for example, Griffin going at the 5th best player. They got Benedict Mathurin at the 8th best, Tari Eason at the 9th best, Johnny Davis at 10, Dyson Daniels at 12, Sochan at 14, right? Agbaji at 19, Liddell at 20. You see what I'm saying? So what I'm saying is, if the NBA goes by a Tankathon, so we would have Liddell, Dyson Daniels, Liddell, Sochan, Okai Agbaji in our natural fall, where we at 12. And this is the thing. Whatever you think about Leon Rose, one thing I know. Don't give this cat a talent he wants that he could trade down for. Because he will pick up more picks. He will get that dude and add more picks to the Knicks plethora. Okay? That's how you've seen that in the last 2 drafts. He could do that. Right? So between him and Walt Perrin, they got it on lock. All right. So I'm very excited at our draft position. I was telling y'all we can get a good player at 12. And the Knicks are at 12. We could only get better. We're not going to drop below 12. Right? So you can get 12 or you can go higher. So at 12, EJ is going to be there. Daniels is going to be there. Sochan's going to be there. Agbaji's going to be there. At 12, all those guys are going to be there. Okay. And I'm really thinking they're going to trade Julius Randle this summer. So I like EJ Liddell, Jeremy Sochan, because you're going to need a backup to Obi. And those 2 kids are solid backups. I would love to see Tom Thibodeau is going to love Sochan. He's going to love both of them because they work really hard. But Sochan is a defensive monster, man. I mean, like I said, he guards 1 through 5, man. Not only that, even though he doesn't shoot the ball well, offensively, I mentioned Ben Simmons because, like Ben Simmons, he can handle the basketball. He's not incompetent handling the basketball. He's not, and he has an IQ. He's not going to force his way into double teams like some people that we know and create a lot of turnovers. Okay. He's got a high basketball IQ. All right. And so with that combination, like I said, I have very high confidence that if the Knicks were to get Jeremy Sochan, he would be in the rotation. He's not a starter right now, but he would be in the rotation. that defense is just too good, man. So you got a guy, like I said, he's switchable, and that's extremely important on a high level defense. So that no matter who they switch on to who, that person is going to be locking down the guy with the ball. That's what you want, right? So right now with Mitchell Robinson, they could keep switching, and they end up with a point guard. Mitchell Robinson, he'll lock the point guard up, okay? And his length is so much that he can alter the shot from the 3-point line. We saw him block Kevin Durant's shot from the 3-point line. Okay, nobody blocks Kevin Durant's shot from the 3-point line. Well, Sochan is that guy. Also, you put him out there, and they can switch all they want. No matter who they switch on to, they're gonna get a dog, on them. They're gonna get a pit bull biting them, regardless of who they switch to. So, like, you get a situation where you have a Deuce McBride out there with a Quentin Grimes and an R.J. Barrett, and then you get a Mitchell Robinson and a Sochan. That's like that's part of your second unit, part of your mob deep. No matter who they switch to, they're on lock. Right? The best shot they got is to try to take Deuce and go low on him, post it. That's the best shot you got. And even that's not a guarantee. And you waste your time trying to do that, you're going to waste 12 seconds on the shot clock. Right? Trying to get that. So I like this kid. I like him a lot. And to me, there's a high percentage chance that the Knicks stay at 12. Him, Daniels, Liddell are going to be there. They're going to be there at 12. So I'm really happy about that. Now, right now, as far as these kids, the next step is now the Knicks are going to interview them. One thing I like about Tom Thibodeau, Walt Perrin and them, and Leon and Perry, they do diligent background. They not only interview the player, they interview the player's parents, they interview the player's coaches, they interview people that they went to school with. They interview people to find out about the character of who they're dealing with. Now, it was pretty obvious, if you remember, Steve Mills and Perry did not do that when they went out to California and signed Julius Randle. They just signed him, right? And we can see character-wise what he acts like when he's not on in the right frame of mind. But all of the draft picks that they have gotten over the last 2 seasons, which would be Obi, IQ, Jericho Sims, Deuce, and Grimes, they went and did thorough background on all of these kids. They went to Kansas and talked to Bill Self. They went, of course, to Houston and talked to Sampson about Grimes. They were talking to his parents. They were talking to his brother, the hockey player. They were trying to get as much information as they could about every player they were thinking about drafting. That's very good. That's very good. So we won't get a knucklehead. The only thing about Sochan is he reminds me of the Worm with the colored hair. I don't want to see him on Fifth Avenue with a dress on. You know what I'm saying? But because that's a distraction to the team. But he knows how to play basketball and winning basketball player. So, yeah, there's a very good possibility they're going to do the thorough background. Then I want to see them bring them in for workouts. That's important in this case because we want to make sure we get the right guy. But I want to see them bring them in for workouts. I want to see them work them out against other, of course, college players that are coming in, trying to get into that league. I want to see them work out. I don't really care if he plays in the combine or not. I don't want to see. The combine to me is more for players that are trying to move up in the draft, and maybe all these guys are being that the Knicks are drafting at 12, but they'll be in the lottery. So, fine if they go to the combine, that's cool. But if I don't want my guy to get hurt. That's what I'm saying. So the combine, and then you interview them, and then of course like I said, you work them out. Then you look at their film. Then you go ahead and you interview all of the people they know around them to get a good sense of who this person is. And now you have a player that you can get. I like Jeremy Sochan. I like him a lot. I'm prone to defensive players. He's a defensive guy. Really. He's the best defender in this draft. And we've seen some good ones. Dyson Daniels also. That's why I have him 7, 8. They're both really high-level defenders. Dyson Daniels, a perimeter defender. Okai Agbaji, another high-level defender. EJ Liddell, he's also a high-level defender, but I don't think he's a perimeter guy because he's more of a down low guy. He's a baseline guy. He's a low block guy. He's a tough dude. Like I said, think of Charles Oakley with him. Think Oakley. that's EJ Liddell. Okay, but he can shoot much better than Charles Oakley ever did. So but I'm excited about our draft position of where we are this year because we can get a good player. I think if I had to rank them, I would probably go Liddell, Sochan, Dyson Daniels because um, I'm happy with the wing depth that we have with Grimes, Cam, and then the point guard depth with IQ and D Rose and Deuce. I'm happy with that right now. So I mean, I'm not saying Dyson wouldn't help us. Dyson Daniels would, but I'm happy with the point guard depth we have. But on the wing, at the wing, on the power forward, in the 5 depth, we got Sims as a backup solid. And I'm concerned, as y'all are we going to sign Mitch Rob or not? And if not, we got to get a somebody for him. And then I want them to trade Julius Randle. And I want Obi Toppin as my starting power forward, but I want a backup to him. Somebody last night mentioned a backup like a Harrison Barnes. Yeah, that's cool. You get a veteran backup Tibbs would like that. And, now you're set at that position. Harrison Barnes really is a 3. But I can see him getting some backup at the 4 in a small ball style, which I think we're going to go more small balls next year because that's the trend in the league right now. But I would love to have Jeremy Sochan. And I think Thibodeau would too, even though he's a rookie. Thibodeau would be yelling at him all the time. But Sochan would be really good, defensively. And then, like I said, he'd be really good IQ-wise. The ball would still move. He's going to get you some big rebounds. You're going to need a lot of work offensively, a lot of work on his foul shooting, a lot of work on, like I said, he's going to need development. He's only going to be 19. So I like him. And the reason why, like Dyson Daniels, because Dyson Daniels played in the G League, so he's got a little bit more polished experience playing with the big boys. G League is not the league, the NBA, but it's higher than college. It is. So, he got experience doing that. Liddell, he plays defense. He works extremely hard. He's strong body, 6'7", 240 of muscle. That's Liddell. So, he's going to work really hard for you. And he's going to hit open jump shots. And that's why I kind of rank him a little higher than those other 2 guys because he's got more offensive game to him. But, man, I'm really excited about our draft spot right here. And like I said, all 3 of these guys, and then you throw Akai Agbaji in there, we could get them below 12. Maybe Dyson Daniels goes a little higher because, like I said, he's got the experience in the G League. He's an elite defender on the perimeter. He needs also work, but his shot is not broken. He shoots like 74% from the line. So his shot is not broken. It is broken, but it can be fixed. Put it that way. It's not far from being fixed. But you got a good spot right here. You're in a good position. And so you give Leon a position where the player he wants is below him, and you're going to see some moves being made. And we can probably add to our draft capital, okay, which is going to make us more dangerous when somebody that is a superstar wants to come to the Knicks while we, now we're in year 3 of the rebuild. You get into year 4, now you're talking about knocking on the door of teams in the playoffs and going into the second round and all that. Now you're talking about a superstar looking over at New York and saying, I think I can help that team, right? Unless, of course, we get Zion. But anyway, that's what I like. So Sochan is solid to me. Him and Daniels are tied on my big board. Right under them is Okai. And then right above them, I have Liddell. Now, that's me. Like, Liddell on Tankathon's big board is at 20. Tankathon got Liddell as the 20th pick, and they got Okai and Sochan ahead of him. I like Liddell, though. I like him. So, I mean, like I said, it depends, and Liddell's a little older. That's probably why, because Liddell's 21, whereas Sochan is 18 right now, and he would have just turned 19 when the draft comes. And then, of course, Okai is also 22. These guys are older. That's why they're down. But to me, when you could get a kid that's like mature, and I think they just look at the game a little differently, you can get a good deal on a guy like that, right? I mean, Obi was older, so I don't know. And then, of course, we know, Duarte, right? So, and then Daniels is only 19. So that's probably why he's higher. But, man, I'll take Jeremy Sochan right now. Give me that kid right now. And let's work. Let's do this thing, man. Because he's defense. And in 2 or 3 years, like I said, he can be all NBA defense. He can be like Matisse Thybulle, Ben Simmons, Mitch, Dennis Rodman. You got that defensively with this kid. And don't let him learn any offense. Don't let him really get a real shot. And the problem with his shot is he throws it, he holds it wrong in his hands. He throws it at bad angles. His body's always turned when he's shooting, when he's driving. But he also is a distributor. He can handle the rock. He can run a break. Yes, Jeremy Sochan can run a break. Okay, at 6'9" with a 7-foot wingspan. He can run a break. Just like Scotty Barnes, right? So, yeah, we in good shape, Knicks Nation, as far as our draft position. We don't need to necessarily move up. We could move down and get a guy that we want. And that's a good position to be in. That means we're going to add assets. We don't need to give up assets to get a player that we want. Just like last year with Grimes. We added a pick and we got Grimes anyway. We moved down, added a pick and got Grimes. And that pick became Cam Reddish, right? So they traded that pick with Kevin Knox and got Cam Reddish. So you can say last draft, we got Quentin Grimes and Cam Reddish. That's how you do it. You know what I'm saying? That's how you do it. Especially when you're trading down. Leon is dangerous when he's trading down, man. And I think he got a couple of second rounders when we got Quick. Because he kept trading down, moving around. And he got Quickly, which he wanted all along. He's dangerous when you're going to get a player that he wants that's below his draft position. Leon is amazing, man. So I'm excited, yo. I like our draft spot. I like where we at. I like this kid. I like Sochan. I like him a lot. Especially, like I said, I'm a defensive guy, and this kid is a defensive player. Really good. So that's Jeremy Sochan. I think next we got 2 more players to do. We got Wendell Moore. What I got here? I got Wendell Moore out of Duke and Johnny Davis out of Wisconsin, who's probably going to be gone. I like the fact that Johnny Davis is ranked so high. I like Johnny Davis. He's just too inefficient for me. I think he's going to be a good player. He's going to play both ways on the ball. But there are other guys that I like better. And that's why I have him 12 on my draft board. And he'll probably be gone, obviously, before that. But that only opens up more of a possibility for us to get somebody that I really want, right? That's the way I look at it. So that's it. Y'all please have a safe, productive Tuesday. Shalom.